Okay, so let's get into S's question. Please advise S on building financial stability while supporting her personal growth. What a fantastic question. How valuable for all of us to ask ourselves this kind of great question. All right, so we're going to cast the coins, okay, and then I'm going to draw out the layout, and then we're going to get into the interpretation as a means of demonstrating how we might approach unpacking the meaning and synthesizing it all together. So while I cast the coins, let us speed this up. Okay, so here we have our lines. So what I do is I always write in the numbers, okay? The little dots mean whether that's a changing line. So a 6 and a 9 would be a changing line. A 7 and an 8 would be a fixed line. And now we can draw in our line. So that's a female line, female line, female line, male line, female line, male line. Okay, so I sometimes get asked, why do you then write the lines in this way when you cast the lines up? I think it's entirely up to you. It's just the way that I land up doing it. Okay, so female, 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 male, female, male. Okay, these lines give us a earth trigram on the top and a fire trigram on the bottom. And this is hexagram 36. Darkening of a light. Okay. Now, we have a changing line in the first position. And if you've got questions on changing lines, there is an episode on the I Ching 101 series where I talk through changing lines. Each of the lines themselves have positional meanings, okay? And each of the lines in each resource, when you look, you'll see a hexagram, and then there's a reference to changing lines 1 to 6, additional focus issues to help us work with the hexagram, the transformation points of change, the dynamic focus points of change. These changing lines mean we have a second hexagram, okay, sometimes called an outcome relating hexagram. So we draw that next. A 6 changing line swaps into its opposite. So we have a male line. Right? That one stays the same, not a changing line. That one stays the same. 7 stays the same, not a changing line. That one stays the same, not a changing line. This one becomes its opposite, so instead of male, it becomes female. Okay, a yin line. Now we have the mountain trigram on the top over the mountain trigram on the bottom. This is hexagram 52, keeping still, okay, doubling of mountain energy. These changing lines, okay, transform this situation into this situation. I like doing the nuclear hexagram when we do these tutorials because it adds another layer that we just don't have capacity to get into too much in the weeklies and monthlies, so let's get into that. So what we're doing, if you know about nuclear hexagrams, you take those 3 lines, we redraw them as our bottom trigram. Now running out of space here. Okay, female, male, female. Okay, and we draw these 3 lines on top as the top trigram. We don't worry about line 6 and line 1 because those are leaving and these are new energy. We want the core. That's what the nuclear is, the core of the situation. And so we redraw those ones. We have yang, yin, yin. Okay, so now we have thunder, okay, over water. And that is hexagram 40, deliverance. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to unpack these hexagrams, right? We'll come back to the changing lines. What are the specific pops? I like calling them pops of change, makes it friendly. Pops of change, right? That take us from the situation we're in, the darkening of the light, to the situation and the victory that we want to manifest, all right? What is this growth process that this particular question is asking us to pay attention to and what is really going on at the heart of the process. Okay, so our main situation, our main issue, our main current reality is 36, darkening of the light. Here, the light, okay, the fire triagram, has sunk into the earth. It refers to a time where the conditions in our environment, our conditions in our world, in a situation we've asked about, have become a little darkened. Okay, there is difficulty, there's challenge, there are wolves. Okay, you can imagine that we're in the forest at night and we're trying to burn our fire to keep warm. And in our environment, there are wolves, okay, who are attracted to that fire. What we do is we bury the fire in a pit. Okay, excuse my funny drawings I do as I talk. That is a pit, by the way. Okay, we put the fire in a pit to hide it from predators. Okay, what does this mean for us in our personal lives? This hexagram calls us to hide our light. It's a strategy, okay? It's about recognizing that sometimes the time is not right to say, wolves, wolves, come, feed. No, we go undercover and we hide our light for a little bit. Okay, so this might be not about being very visible, overt, going on a mission to expose ourselves and to make lots of noise and bang the pot in the forest. We're not doing that. We're just accepting that sometimes the environment is not right for us to shine our light in a way that is suitable for our well-being. And it's a time period, things will change. But what this strategy means is to go within. This is what this hexagram is asking us to do. If we are stubborn and we don't want to learn the lesson, what we can do is we can bang the pot for the wolves because we want company. But we don't want this company. And the time is not yet ripe for the company we do want. What we do is we go within and we wait it out. Okay, we sit in the cave. We sit with our fire hidden. It's like turning down the lantern. The flame is still there, but it doesn't attract attention. Okay. So related to your question, we look at this hexagram, 36, darkening of the light. And we ask about your building of your financial stability while you support your growth. At this time, what the I Ching is suggesting is that you recognize that there's an environmental risk. There's an environment that's not quite conducive, that is not quite ready for you, that perhaps you needing some time just to burn within and bide your time, go within. So right now on this question, you're going to have to contemplate, what does that mean in terms of the phase I'm at in building my stability while I support my growth? Supporting your growth right now means you are quiet about your achievements, you are reflective, pensive, holding yourself back, and it's hard to do because, like, if you're trying to do marketing or market yourself or market your business, you naturally will have to kind of go out there and sell your wares, right? But right now, your personal development is the highest and the best thing. That's what we're wanting to know, of how you support your personal growth while building your financial stability, is to darken the light, or rather not darken the light, but to take your light inside and hide it from your outside. Okay, we'll come back to these two changing lines to see what does that specifically mean. Now, our hexagram here, 40, Deliverance. This is a fantastic hexagram. This is what happens after we have survived a big ordeal. We have gone on a journey, okay? We've been at night on a terrible sea voyage, okay, where we have been crashed on with waves, okay, and wind, lightning, all the worst things you can imagine as a sailor. And through the night, crash, and the ship is now shipwrecked, and you wake up in the morning and you're cold, but you're alive and you're on the shore. Okay, very dramatic picture. Okay. What this hexagram points to is the fact that you've survived the ordeal. You've been through a tough time. That tough time, okay, what's at the heart of the situation in your question right now is you have been delivered from the difficult time. You might feel injured, you might feel battle weary, okay, you might feel exhausted. Depending on where you're at, take some time off. This hexagram says that if you've got somewhere to go, if you've got a meaningful purpose or something that's really driving you forward, a place that you need to get to, then start moving towards that slowly and gently and kindly. But if for now you're not quite sure where to go next, you take time off, you rest, you recuperate, you regroup. Okay, so ideally this hexagram says regroup and refine yourself, and you also have this darkening of the light go within. So there's a process here of I made it through the dark night, I made it through the shipwreck, I've arrived at the shore, I've survived, and if I can, let me just give myself a little bit of a breather to refine my way before I race off in the next direction. But if there is something important, if there's somewhere you have to go, then you get moving, but do it gently and calmly to yourself. Okay, so that's deliverance is at the heart of the situation right now. As much as it might feel like there's wolves circling around you, and you kind of put yourself and your light and what you can do, your value. Okay, this is all about your value, your light. Even though you have to dampen that a bit and hide it and just kind of pack it away a little bit and smile and wave. It's okay. Do that. Do what you need to do to look after your light now. Okay, so I like thinking about the second hexagram as the victory hexagram. Okay, here's the victory. What are the opportunities for victory? Okay, how do we move through this? Because what we're wanting to do in this question is to build your financial stability while supporting your financial growth, or rather your personal growth, building your financial stability while supporting your personal growth. And here we have the hexagram. This is so interesting. 52, keeping still. This hexagram is also known as the meditation hexagram, okay, because it talks about this doubling of mountain. You know, mountain is absolutely still. It rests and it just hangs out thanks to gravity, all right? And it talks about that stillness and the kind of the immobility of a mountain. It just rests. You know, it sinks and rests, okay? And so this hexagram is all about staying still, okay? This is not a hexagram. This is the opposite of rushing forwards with vigor. No. This is about stopping, stilling the body, stilling the heart, stilling the mind, being at rest, okay? Meditation, rest, stopping, okay? And being present, being completely and utterly present in the moment, the ever-present now. This is the path to victory, okay? In the situation, in this darkening of the light and the walls and the shipwreck, and you're still feeling a little bit maybe PTSD from whatever this was, okay, that happened for you, meditation, rest, stopping, and being present is your secret sauce that's going to help you transform your financial stability, plus while supporting your personal growth. And so in all three hexagrams, I can't say this enough, we'll see what the changing lines have to say. In all three hexagrams, stopping and stilling, going within, recuperating if you can after the dark night. Can you see the pattern? Something has happened here for you, all right? Obviously, I have no idea what time period it is or what it is. No idea. Something's been happening here for you where you are needing to go within, recognize you've overcome, but you might feel battle weary and are needing some rest. And here it is again. Meditation, rest, stopping, and being present. This is your superpower right now that you can bring into this moment to help you bring balancing your growth and your financial success. Right, let's get into these little changing lines. So with this changing line, first position, okay, first position lines are something that's new, that's entering. Okay, so the darkening of the light has entered. And this particular line, and if you want to go and reference it, I'm using the Richard Wilhelm interpretation. Of course, have a look at whatever resource you like. You'll find a similar thread. And this particular changing line speaks about having some challenges, right? Pursuing something, not having a place to stay, not having a place to rest, and being almost driven on by one's own principles, okay, despite what everyone else might think. So it's like we have these values or these principles, and it's great that we have them. And in this case, this line says, if you have a meaningful principle that I must finish what I start, let's just take that as a principle, or I must serve and help others, and no matter what the cost, that's a principle. But what this particular line is saying is that you might find that having a strong guiding light, a guiding principle that's guiding you forward, a core value that's driving you in the situation, what it's doing is it also brings lots of challenges and difficulties to you. And you might find people around you are not happy about that. Okay, so this might be commentary. This line talks about people speaking ill of you because they think maybe you've lost your mind. Because, why would you pursue that principle even though it harms you? But there's something around this line that if you accept that difficulties come because of doing something that's hard, okay? Doing what's easy is not always the best way, is the right way. Sometimes doing the hard thing is the thing that moves ourselves and everyone forward, is that deprivation comes, difficulties come, all right? But if you have something that's really meaningful to you and you commit to it, don't worry about what other people might think about it. Keep moving forward. So this really talks and speaks to accepting that you have higher principles that are hard, okay, that make your journey hard right now, right? Particularly related to your question of building your financial stability and supporting your personal growth at the same time, is that pursuing principles that are hard and call us to difficulty and challenge and finding new ways forward are often the ones that ultimately are extremely powerful and change the world we're in. So you've got to work out the principle that you're following. Is that the highest principle that's calling you forward, or is it the madness, right? The illusion or delusion? People around you might be saying, she's lost her mind, okay? But you will know the principle that you are following that's making it hard for you, but ultimately leads to a much bigger process in life. And I have in my own life, I've gone and I've followed principles, and I've followed things that were meaningful to me, and they have brought huge difficulty. But in the end, we look back and we grow through it. And what would happen if we didn't have meaningful principles that we were following? We'd just be on the couch, and that's where we would be. And this line talks about the darkness, the principle of darkness in this particular, the challenge has reached its zenith. It's reached its high point. When you look at the I Ching, and you read the I Ching books, I often talk about how it seems so unbelievably ominous. Okay, so, bear that in mind, that the language is like, oh my goodness, but if this is a planet killer line right here. But what this line talks about is that darkness has reached its maximum. And in its maximum, because it's reached its zenith, it starts consuming itself. Okay. It's got nowhere to go. It's got nothing else to feed on. It starts dying because it has nowhere left to go. So the culmination of this line has reached its point and starts to wane off. I think about this hexagram here, 40 Deliverance, sitting at the heart of this process, that no matter how this might feel for you, no matter how many walls it may appear to you are circling, at some point the wolves, in a way, combust themselves. They work themselves out. They work themselves into a frenzy and actually are disempowered because they've reached their fullness, right? There's too many wolves. Maybe you can think about this idea. There's so many wolves that they start fighting with each other, and so they destroy themselves in the process. Okay. So in this process, there's deliverance sitting at the heart of this thing, right? The negativity, the difficulty, the challenge has reached its maximum, okay? It's in a process of being overcome by this deliverance, okay? By the ship reaching its maximum and finding itself upon the shore, deliverance sitting at the heart of this, and working with this idea that the victory comes through keeping still, rest, meditation, stopping, and being absolutely present. So I would say to you, when I look at this outline, okay, this hexagram is very challenging. That changing line is challenging. That changing line is challenging, right? Going within, in spite of all the difficulties, is the strategy that is going to help you work with your financial stability and your personal growth together, okay? Finding a way for them to work together, holding on to your principles, okay, in spite of everything, holding back, putting your light under wraps, doing what you need to that the world expects of you, but underneath that you are growing. So if I was to put this into analogy, right? Classic example, I've been through this personally, so I know the difficulty of the situation of going and doing a job because it pays the bills, right? But actually you have this light that's burning within you that wants to do something else, that wants to free itself and to grow and to express itself, all right? But for now, we go and do the job because it's putting money in the bank and then allowing us to work on this inner light out of the sight of the wolves or the environment we're in. It might feel like an environment that's not yours, that's unsafe, maybe psychologically unsafe, or unsafe in terms of being you. Okay, you've got to put you and leave yourself in the car when you arrive at the office. It's that kind of idea. Reclaim yourself once you've left. And it's almost like accepting that that's the journey.